Married at First Sight fans are mourning the sudden loss of Ryan De Nino, the Season 2 star who has died at the age of 40, with his sister stepping forward to share an emotional tribute that has left both longtime viewers and those who knew him personally searching for answers. For many who watched him step up to the altar back in 2015, marrying a stranger in front of cameras and millions of viewers, the news of his passing feels almost impossible to process. A stark and sobering reminder that the people behind reality television are living real, complicated, often painful lives long after the cameras stop rolling. Ryan first entered the public eye as a 29-year-old businessman on Season 2 of the groundbreaking Lifetime series, a show built on a daring premise pairing complete strangers together and having them marry the very first time they laid eyes on one another. He was matched with Jessica Castro, a receptionist whose optimism and determination to make the experiment work stood in stark contrast to the tension that would eventually define their relationship. At the time, audiences watched as the two navigated the extraordinary pressure of building a marriage from scratch, with Jessica speaking openly about her belief in lasting commitment, coming from what she described as a family of long, successful marriages, and insisting that divorce simply wasn't part of her vocabulary. On Decision Day, the episode where couples confront the ultimate question of whether to stay together or separate, Ryan and Jessica chose to remain married, defying the odds that so many couples on the series had already failed to beat. But what seemed like a hopeful ending on screen would soon unravel dramatically behind the scenes, setting the stage for a far more turbulent chapter than viewers had witnessed during the show's original run. Not long after cameras stopped rolling, the marriage began to deteriorate, and what followed was a contentious and highly public falling out. Reports at the time detailed a restraining order taken out against Ryan, followed by a defiant and cryptic response he posted on social media, hinting at hidden truths he claimed would eventually come to light, though those explanations never fully materialized in the public record. The couple's split escalated into a legal battle, and eventually into full divorce, closing the door on what had once been billed as one of the show's rare success stories. In the years that followed, Ryan gradually stepped back from the spotlight that had once surrounded him, fading from the public conversation as the show itself moved forward with new seasons, new couples, and new stories. For a long stretch of time, there was little public information about where his life had taken him after reality television, leaving many former viewers with only the memory of the young businessman they'd watched exchange vows with a stranger a decade earlier. That silence made the news of his death, arriving suddenly and without warning, all the more jarring for those who remembered him. According to family members who spoke with TMZ, Ryan died suddenly earlier this week in New Jersey, though his relatives have chosen, at least for now, not to release further details about the circumstances surrounding his passing. That decision has left many questions unanswered, with fans and former viewers left to wonder what exactly happened in the years since he stepped away from the public eye, and what led to such an unexpected and untimely loss. What is known is the outpouring of love that followed almost immediately, beginning with a deeply personal tribute posted by his sister, Melissa De Nino, on social media. In her message, she chose to remember Ryan not as the reality television figure so many had come to know, but simply as her brother, describing him as someone who was, in her words, incredibly funny and witty, someone fiercely loyal to the people he loved, and someone who carried a genuinely huge heart throughout his life. She spoke about the singular, irreplaceable weight of losing a sibling, someone who had been present since the very beginning, who shared decades of memories that no one else could fully understand or replicate. She admitted that no matter what challenges they faced together as siblings, her love for him never wavered, and that life, as she had always known it, would never quite be the same again. Alongside her heartfelt words, Melissa shared a series of photographs spanning Ryan's life, offering a glimpse into the brother the world rarely saw during his brief time on television. A throwback image of her cradling him as a baby, a playful childhood photo of the two of them dressed up for Halloween as a witch and a vampire, and more recent pictures capturing easy smiles and lighthearted moments between siblings who clearly shared a close bond. Those images, more than any headline, painted a portrait of a life lived far beyond the confines of a reality show plotline, a life filled with family, laughter, and connection that had nothing to do with the cameras that once followed him. As news of his death spread, reactions came in from unexpected corners of his past, including from his former television bride, Jessica Castro. In a statement shared publicly, Castro acknowledged that she had not been in contact with Ryan for years, and admitted she had no knowledge of what his life had entailed since their relationship ended. Despite the distance and the difficult history between them, she extended her sincere condolences to his family during what she called an incredibly difficult time, a gesture that for many longtime followers of the show, closed a complicated chapter with an unexpectedly graceful note of humanity. Ryan's passing has once again brought attention to the often overlooked reality that reality television captures only a small, curated fragment of a person's life, a brief and heavily edited window that rarely reflects the full complexity of who someone truly is once the cameras are gone. For a decade, Ryan De Nino existed in the memories of viewers primarily through dramatic television moments, restraining orders, tabloid headlines, and a marriage experiment that captured public fascination. But in the wake of his death, it is his sister's words and the quiet, unpolished photographs of a childhood and adulthood spent together that have offered the truest glimpse into who he really was. As authorities in New Jersey have yet to publicly release additional information regarding the circumstances of his death, and as representatives connected to the show have not yet issued further comment, much about this story remains unknown, leaving fans and former co-stars alike to sit with the discomfort of unanswered questions. What remains clear, however, is the impact Ryan De Nino had on those closest to him, an impact captured powerfully in his sister's simple, aching words about what it means to lose someone who had been there since the very beginning of her life. For a man once known publicly through the framework of reality television, it is fitting perhaps that his final tribute strips all of that away entirely, leaving behind only the memory of a brother, a friend, and a man whose warmth and humor left a mark on everyone who truly knew him, a legacy far removed from headlines, restraining orders, or reality show drama, and one that his family will now carry forward in his memory.